Hi, it's Amy. It's Sunday meal prep time at my house. I just got home from my daughter and future son-in-law's house for dinner, and I'm a little late with this. Usually I do it a little earlier, but I wanted to share with you a little bit of my Sunday meal prep. What it does is I make 5 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and some of my dinners for the week, not all of it, and portion out my snacks. And it makes it super easy for me to get ready for work in the morning and grab and go. Especially this week, it's my early week, so I have to be in at 8:15. So with my workout and my commute, makes me get up at about 5. So I'm glad to have everything done early. Let me just share with you. I don't know how, I can't turn this around. So let me just share with you and start what's going on here. These are going to be some of the snacks. Can we see them? This is going to be where I'm portioning everything out. I guess I got to go this way. This is going to be where I'm portioning out. These are my containers that I use for my lunch. You'll see they work really good. And I'm doing a little zoodles this week, a little lasagna roll-ups. And this is super special. My husband, we got a smoker in the sink. Wait till you see the sink at the end of this. Everything goes in the sink. The sink is a mess. My husband got a smoker, and this is my favorite. I have smoked salmon this week for lunch, which is going to be really fantastic. So let me see if I can figure out how to set this up over here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is some breakfast. So for breakfast this week, I'm having 2 days of overnight oats. I don't know if you've ever made overnight oats, but they're fantastic. So I'm cheating. Well, it's not really cheating. I usually buy the big thing at Chobani and portion it out, but these were on sale. They were actually, I think $3.99 for the 4 of them, and they equal a red container. If I was to measure this into here, it would count as one of my proteins, so it's easy, and I don't have to measure. So for my overnight oats, I'm going to do in mason jars. And what I do is I take a yellow container, which is my carb container, and I fill it with regular old-fashioned oats. So that is, I'm going to do it over the sink. Did you hear that? I made a little mess. So the overnight oats are going in here, and I'm doing 2 of them. I took out 2 jars. Measure out another one. So that's my other yellow going into the other jar. Oops. Well, I guess I can get this out of the way for now. Then I add my yogurt. I use non-fat Greek. If I'm eating it just with fruit, I put a little sweetener in, but the fruit in here is going to sweeten it up enough. So in goes the yogurt in here. Gotta get all of it. And another yogurt in here. And for these, I use frozen fruit. I'm a big fan of fresh everything, but the frozen fruit is so juicy that really makes the oats come out really good. If you use fresh fruit, you have to use a little water because it does not soften the oats enough. Okay, so that's the end of that. And then I have my trash. I have organic fruit medley. Still a little bit frozen. I took it out a little while ago. And that's going to get measured in my purple container. And one of these bags is 2 purples. I know that ahead of time from doing it so often. This is really messy. And they're not quite frozen, so I'll measure it, but I may just end up splitting it between the 2. Let's see how we do. So here's 1 purple going in to this one. They're frozen. Get in there. Okay, and then the rest of the bag will go into the other container. I got fruit going everywhere. The dog will come in and finish that. I'm just going to get a sponge because I don't want to walk through those berries that are dropped on the floor. Okay, so the other purple container is going to go over here. Going to even it out a little bit. And I'm going to go to the lids, and these go right in the refrigerator. These are super easy, and tomorrow, this is all going to mix together. The oats on the bottom are going to get soft. You can eat them right out of the fridge cold, or you could warm them up. I do them in glass. I never microwave in plastic. I'm big on microwaving in glass. So if I take it to work, I can microwave it right in this, or I can microwave it in a bowl at home and have it at home before I go. So that's 2 breakfasts. All right, let's see. All right, I think I'm gonna move over to lunch because the other breakfast is just gonna be 2 yogurts and some cut up strawberries. So that's kind of boring to watch. So I'm not gonna do that now. These are my yogurts for my other breakfasts. And I have strawberries and blueberries that I'll cut up. They'll go in a purple. I take them in these little Pampered Chef containers to work because I like glass. And that's how they go. So I'm gonna move on to lunch. So these, my favorite thing about meal prep is freezer stock. Last week I cooked like crazy. I made stuffed peppers, I made chicken meatballs, I made meatloaf, mini meatloafs, and I made these quinoa cakes, which are a favorite in our house. So these are not going to be the same days as overnight oats, because if I have a carb for breakfast and a carb for lunch, I can't have a carb for dinner. And I'm making lasagna roll-ups, so that's my carb for dinner. So these quinoa cakes that I took out of the freezer that I made last week are going to be on my lunch day that I have salmon and zoodles. So zoodles, they're coming up next. So they're yummy. I make them right in a muffin tin. They're quinoa. I'll be happy to share the recipe if anybody wants it. They're quinoa, broccoli, onion, a little bit of cheese. They're delicious. Broccoli, did I say broccoli? Probably did. And 2 of them for me on my plan are yellow. So that's for 2 lunches right there. They're going in my boxes for 2 lunches. They're frozen, so they're not fitting in so nice. And this I eat room temperature. It's plastic. I don't put it in the microwave. I eat at room temperature. So my salad will go in there too. And they'll be at room temperature. Let me move the oats over by the fridge. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, so I have my 2 portions of this lunch. And what I'm going to do is have salad with this. So I need my green container and my kale salad, which is my favorite. I don't know where the scissor is. Here it is. I usually get the giant bag at Costco. It's like $4.99 for the gigantic bag that lasts me way more than a week. But I knew I was only having 2 salads this week, and I hate to waste, so I got the smaller size one at the grocery store. I do not use the dressing packet, but I do use the pumpkin seeds. So green container is going to be my salad. I'm just going to measure it up. Okay, that's that. And the other one's going to go in the other lunch. Like I said, my other 2 lunches are going to have zoodles because I'm having the oats for breakfast. So I'm not going to have salad with that. I'm going to have the zoodles. So that's my other green. That's going in here. And I have a little left. Okay, so far, can you see that? So far I have my quinoa cakes and my salad in my lunch. And I'm going to go over here. I'll bring it with me. Oh, maybe I'll bring the salmon over here. It'll probably be easier. So I have this amazing salmon. I wish you could smell it. My husband smoked it. I don't know if you love smoked things, but I do. And we made smoked chicken, too. We had that for dinner on Saturday. It was fantastic. And so I am just going to cut some of this up. Let me get a knife. And it will be my lunch. So 1, 2, I can get 4 good pieces out of here for lunch. So let's see. 1, 2. Oops, I found a berry. Another one on the floor. Okay, so the last one's a little big. I'll share it around with the other days. Okay, so I don't know how they're going to like me at work today because it's going to smell like fish if you come to the nurse's office at work today. But look at that. It's a beautiful piece of smoked salmon. Actually take it right off the skin. And it's going right in my container. Kind of mush it in there. Okay, that's one. And let me get out the other one. I'm going to do 2 now. I have to make the zoodles yet. So that's the other one. And like I said, he did this in the smoker for me. It's just got a little dill, a little lemon pepper, Trader Joe's 21 seasoning because I put that on everything. And this is going to go in my other lunch. Okay. Wash my hands so I could show you. A little greasy. Where's my towel? Here it is. Okay, so here are my 2 lunches. I have my protein, my carbs, my salad. I'll throw a little cucumber or something on top of that to make it a little more interesting. Let me do that now. Have another half of a green, not with the salmon knife. And so that's going to be my lunches. And then they're going to get covered up and stacked in the fridge and be ready to go. Let me just throw a little cucumber on here. Otherwise they're a little boring. I don't like boring. Food has to be interesting for me to want to eat it. Okay, so those are my 2 lunches that I made so far that are ready to go. Oops, flying. So they're going to go over here. They'll go to the fridge. And next up, I have to make the zoodles. I need the cutting board back. The zoodles that are going to go in the other 2 days' lunch. So let me put this over here, make more room. No matter what size your kitchen is, it's never bigger enough. Okay, that's the sink. So can you, I don't know if you can see this. Let's see. I have the Paderno Zoodler. My daughter got it for me for Mother's Day, I think last year, with a great zoodle cookbook. I make a lot of the stuff out of that. I think it was Skinny Taste had a zoodle cookbook. I'm pretty sure. So these ends I'm going to put aside for now. And the zoodles I'll just cook in the frying pan with a little coconut oil. I'm not going to do that now. While you're watching, I'm just trying to get everything put together. So they'll go, actually my pan's dirty in the sink. This is going to go with some coconut oil and go with my salmon in one of those lunch containers. So I'm just zoodling. It takes 2 seconds. Please don't buy the zoodles for like $4 in the supermarket that are pre-done, because it's ridiculous. What does a zucchini cost? $1? And those pre-done zoodles are so expensive, even if you're in a hurry. It only takes 2 seconds, and it's so easy. And I have a little secret. When I'm done, I'm going to show you. This is my favorite little secret. So this is done, and when you're done, you're left with this. And what do you do with this? I could cut this up and put it in my salad, but what I do, I took this out of the freezer to show you. I have a bag of all of my, last week was stuffed peppers, so there's pepper lids in here. There's onion pieces, here's last week's zoodles right here. What I do is I keep all this in the freezer. Now this bag's ready to go. When the bag is full with all of my vegetable scraps, I have mushrooms, I have scallion tips, I have all sorts of stuff in here. I make my own vegetable broth. So when each bag is filled, I put it in a quart pot with some water. I boil it down, I strain it, some of it I puree, and I have homemade, no sodium, amazing vegetable broth. So this zoodle, I'm going to start a new bag because this bag is ready to go. But I don't throw out any of my scraps. I keep all my ends of all of my, here's a new zippy bag, let me get a new zippy bag. I keep all my ends of all my vegetables, and I make my own broth. So that's the new bag starting. And here's some more to go in there. So I have one more squash to zoodle, because I'm going to have one for each day. This will come out to be about a green. I'll throw some tomatoes in with it. And it'll be my green. So that, here we go, very quickly. Put these down. They're cool, right? Sometimes I mix them with some whole wheat spaghetti and do half and half. If my husband's having pasta with me for dinner, I'll do half and half. So he gets a little bit of pasta, and I get to spread my carbs out throughout the day. Because if you know me, I would much rather have a glass of wine than I need a pot of spaghetti. So that's going to be the other zoodle. Actually, I'll get a pan and start cooking them now. Pan is in the sink from my meat because I'm doing the dinner lasagna roll-ups, and I already prepped the meat. Okay, so these zoodles are done. This is going in my bag for vegetable soup, and these are ready to go. We get a clean pan. All right, here's a pan, and I'm going to start those zoodles with coconut oil for lunch.